So I just watched Sonic the Hedgehog 3, directed again by Jeff Fowler and written again by Pat Casey, Josh Miller, and John Whittington. And before I give my thoughts on this film, I should give my thoughts on the first two. I think Sonic 1 is fine. It's like perfectly passable. It's not what I would really want in a Sonic film, but it's like whatever, it's fine. I liked Sonic, I liked James Marsden, it's fine. Sonic 2 I thought was a lot of fun. I thought this is what I want from a Sonic movie. I really liked Tails and Knuckles. I thought Eggman was done a lot better than the first one. I overall had a really good time with that one. And so when I saw that in the post-credits scene of Sonic 2 they would be having Shadow in the third one, I was really excited because Sonic Adventure 2 is my favorite Sonic game. So I went into this excited to see it, and yeah, I had an absolute blast. This was really good. I had a really good time with this one. And I think right off the bat, I'll say that my favorite part was Jim Carrey as both Eggman and Gerald Robotnik. Like, he actually did a really good job of making both of these performances seem unique and different from each other, making it seem like it wasn't just him playing the same person. It really did feel like two different people. And it's just amazing how, like, Jim Carrey was basically able to interact with himself and actually have it feel like two different people talking to each other. It was really something to watch. And I think another thing done better is that the balance between Sonic and the human characters was finally perfected. Like, Sonic 2 was doing a good job for a while, then it derailed itself with that 15-minute wedding subplot thing that they did. But now they finally figured out a way to do it. Like, I don't want the human characters to go away. They can be there, but it should be like in this film. They advance Sonic's story. Sonic's story doesn't just stop so that they can do their thing. This is the way to do it. Like, I remember in the trailer, I saw that the sister-in-law who had the whole wedding subplot in the second film would be in this one, and I was worried. But I actually thought she was used pretty well in this. I thought they did a good job with that. All the other old characters were done well. Sonic, obviously, I liked his arc he went through. I thought Tails and Knuckles were used well. Tom and Maddie I liked. And the only thing I will say is that I thought in this film, Colleen O'Shaughnessy as Tails was a bit off. Like, Tails sounded like 2 years younger than he did in Sonic 2 in this one for some reason. Like, I got used to it, but it was first I was kind of thrown by that. I don't know, maybe that's just me. It's just weird to me. But obviously, if we're talking about performances, we got to talk about Keanu Reeves' Shadow. And obviously, he was great. Like, that's just perfect casting right there. I couldn't imagine anyone better for that part. And I like how in this film, Shadow actually was complex character. Like, he wasn't just some emo, brooding hedgehog like he has been in a lot of recent Sonic media. Like, that's been a problem. Since Sonic Adventure 2, they've been slowly flanderizing him to the point where now he's just some emo hedgehog. And here, he's portrayed the best he's been since Sonic Adventure 2. Like, it's just, they did a really good job with him here. And I also think that the relationship between Shadow and Maria was done, like, just well enough. Like, it's not amazing, but you do care, and you're invested in where it goes, even though you kind of figure where it's going to go. And side note, since talking about Maria, I thought it was kind of funny how, since in this film they moved the events of Maria's life up 20 years, that they kind of made her reflective of the 70s when this film's flashbacks take place. Thought that was a little funny. The visual effects and the action were all great. Like, there wasn't one bad visual effect in this, and all of the action scenes were just a ton of fun. I loved all of them. I will say my biggest problem with the film is that there were some story beats which I thought could have been done better. And if I want to talk about that, I have to get into spoilers. So yeah, if you don't want any spoilers, just know, really liked the film. Obviously, go see it if you're a Sonic fan, or if you're just like a casual moviegoer and you just liked the first two Sonic films, still go see it. I think you'll really like it. And yeah, those are my spoiler-free thoughts. So now I'm going to get into spoilers. But before we get into my issues with the story, I will say the fan service here, I loved the fan service they had. Like, it wasn't just obvious stuff. There were also a lot of subtle things too. Like, there was a poster in the Tokyo scene for the Chow's in Space movie and for Chaos Cola, both of which were posters that were in the original Sonic Adventure 2. We got to see the Bio Lizard in that little kaiju movie. I really liked that they actually acknowledged the Bio Lizard in this film. And I was so happy when they played Eggman's theme from Sonic Adventure 2 for 2 seconds as Eggman's ringtone in this. I thought that was really cool. There was also some awkwardly done fan service I noticed. Like, Sonic says that line in the film about, like, the one he has from Sonic Adventure 2 about, like, it being a cheap flight with no food or movies. I thought he delivered the line kind of awkwardly, like he was trying too hard to just force it into the scene. But then again, to be fair, it was kind of delivered awkwardly in the game too, so I don't know, maybe that's just him trying to copy outside in the game. I also was a little disappointed with how they used live and learn in this. Like, it felt very much like how they said they were going to play Sweet Victory at the Super Bowl after Steven Hillenburg died, but then they just played like a couple seconds of it. That's kind of what this felt like. Like, we're going to use it, but then they only used like a little bit of it, and I thought they could have done a better job with that. And getting on to some of the story beats I had a problem with, like when the general who loves Olive Garden dies at the beginning, I was like, how are there no security cameras in the restaurant or on the street to show that Eggman's robots were the things that killed him? How is there no evidence that Sonic was not the one who killed him? Just felt like kind of an excuse to create a reason for Gunn not to trust Sonic. And speaking of Gunn, for some reason, like the woman who runs Gunn now, she kind of left about 30 minutes left in the film. Like, Tom tricks her into giving him the other card for the Chaos Cannon, and then she's just kind of gone. I don't know, it felt kind of weird. Like, we don't have any more purpose for you, just go away. Felt kind of awkward. I also thought it was a little bit of a cop out that they didn't actually have the gun agents shoot Maria in the flashback. Like, they just shot this thing that blew up and that killed her. Like, I get it, it's a kid's film, but at the same time, Sonic Adventure 2 is like an E10 plus game, and it was pretty heavily implied in that one what happened, so I think there's a way they could have done it. But it is interesting because right after I was like, they kind of copped out on that, they have Gerald Robotnik's whole murder-suicide plan to destroy the Earth and also die while doing it, and that was definitely farther than I expected this movie to go. But I will say that on that note, I kind of thought, like, while, like I said, Shadow Maria's relationship was done well enough, I thought they should have done more to show Gerald and Maria's relationship. Like, the whole point of that plot is that Gerald is so distraught by Maria's death that he's willing to do this. And I just thought, if you're going to do that, you need to do a better job showing Gerald and Maria's relationship, especially if that's going to be the basis for why Eggman ultimately betrays him, because Gerald feels Eggman can't replace Maria. Should have done a better job showing Gerald and Maria together rather than just the one scene where they try to escape from the base when she dies. And also, I was not a fan of the third act breakup. Like, when Knuckles and Sonic started fighting, I was like, really? This is what we're doing for the third act? Like, thankfully they didn't focus too much on it. There wasn't a lot of moping and doping around, but I was just kind of like, I don't know if I want to see this for the third act. And I get it's kind of so we can have Sonic and Shadow together without Tails and Knuckles there, but still, it just felt like too much. And I didn't believe Tom was dead for a second. Like, they try to really make you think they were going to kill him off. I did not buy it. I thought, okay, there's absolutely no way Tom is going to die in this. Didn't believe it. Just felt like they were really trying to play with your emotions there. But since talking about that part of the film, one thing I really liked there, I loved the Wade Whipple cameo. I loved the cameo that Wade Whipple had at the police station. Like, not only was he actually funny there, but they didn't overuse him. And I thought it was a nice way to show that him and Knuckles still had. I thought it was a nice way to show that him and Knuckles did grow closer over the Knuckles series. Like, I truly believe Knuckles trusts him since he gave him the Master Emerald to watch over. So that was pretty cool. And, like, Yeah, of course. Whole last 30 minutes of the movie, I was just sitting there with a big goofy smile on my face watching Sonic and Shadow take on those robots that look like the robots from Sonic Adventure 2, watching Eggman and Gerald fight on the ship. All of that was just so cool, and I just could not help myself from smiling the entire time. And the last thing I want to talk about that's spoiler related is the mid-credit scene. Like post-credit scene, like don't have much to say, just it's cool that it's implying Shadow's still alive, and hopefully that means we're gonna get something cool with him in the future. The thing I will say about the mid-credit scene, like it's cool that Metal Sonic's gonna be in the next one. That's gonna be cool, but I am a little worried about the fact that Amy Rose is going to be in the next one. Like, I thought this since they revealed Shadow at the end of Sonic 2. I figured eventually Amy was going to join this movie universe, and I was always worried how they were going to show her because like Amy already is not a great character. Like, when she was introduced, she was just this bland girl obsessed with Sonic. And in the more recent games, she's just this bland girl who's like trying to prove herself to Sonic while at the same time the most contribution she has to a game is telling other characters, don't forget to wear a sweater, it's cold outside. Like I think pretty sure that's an actual line she had in Sonic Forces, but like I just think that in the next film, they might overcorrect and just make Amy this really boring Captain Marvel type hero that's more focused on being a strong female protagonist and being an actually interesting character. Which, like, I could be wrong. As long as the same team's coming back, they could do it right. But like I just hope that they take the right inspiration for Amy because in my opinion, the best version of Amy Rose was in the Sonic Boom cartoon. Like she felt like an actual unique character and they didn't even have to have her be like interested in Sonic at all. Like as far as I can remember, there was very little hints that she had any romantic interest in Sonic. Now, I'm not opposed if they decide they want to do a love it thing, interest thing with her, but like as long as they make her actually interesting. I'm just saying they don't have to, and I'm just saying I hope they actually remember to make her an interesting character. So let's just hope that the next film can do Amy Rose right, because that's really gonna. I think that's gonna be the big determining factor of the next if the next film will be good or not. So those are my thoughts on Sonic the Hedgehog 3. It's really great. I really enjoyed it overall, obviously. It was a ton of fun. Obviously, like I said, Sonic fans and casual movie fans, I think should go see it. And I'm going to give this one an A minus. And be sure to let me know what you thought about the film down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe so you can see more videos like this in the future. And on that note, I will see you next time. Have a great day.